I'm being told that we are live. That is what it says. I should check. While I check, you can gaze upon this picture here that you see in the corner. That is a group of Iranian women dressed appropriately per YouTube's standards. As you know, we used to begin the show showing women with large breasts, but I learned the error of my ways after receiving a content strike from YouTube. So now we start and end every show with women in appropriately conservative garb. And I think, given what's been going on in Iran, this is the perfect way to begin to pay tribute to the religious leaders over there who have passed down this dictate that women should wear the hijab. We certainly, when I say we, I speak for myself and those people who run YouTube. We wholeheartedly support that. The only man who should lay eyes on a woman's body, of course, is her husband. And I know that YouTube would like to honor that sentiment, and I join them in that. So that is how we will be beginning tonight's show, with a tribute to the government of Iran for their fine work in continuing the spirit of conservative dress that the powers that be at YouTube have championed. And while you feast your eyes on that, I'm just going to give the audio here a quick check. Of course, it's taking a moment to load. Well, this isn't convenient at all. What the fuck's going on? This is why we put the... and while you feast your eyes on that, I'm just going to give... There it is. Here. It is working. I've had so many fucking audio issues that it's just... that's where we're at. I have to do these things at the beginning of the show. And like I said, it gives you a chance now to gaze upon women who are dressed in accordance with the wishes of Allah. Blessed may he be. Of course, if you are watching the stream for the first time, I invite you to hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you join me more often. I will warn you just off the bat, the camera's been on the fritz. I have no fucking idea why. I don't know if the USB connection doesn't like it or whatever, but it's prone to blacking out. Hopefully we get through the show without issue. I think the only time we've had a serious problem with it was during the Fat Camp one. So we shall see. It seems to be okay once I get started. For whatever reason, it doesn't like just hanging around before the show goes live. I'm not sure what's up with that, but yeah, the live stream is available. Sacktap Live on YouTube. Just search that. Click on my face. Currently, my avatar is me smoking a cigar. That is, of course, subject to change at any time. Not smoking cock, you know what I mean? The social media pages at Gary_Moyler, Moyler, Twitter at Mike Montone, Facebook.com/The Savage Crew. I've been trying to tweet more on Facebook, I'm a fucking idiot. I'm quite tired this evening. I've been trying to post more on the Facebook page. I have like 1,500 or 1,600 followers over there, but I hadn't been using the page. So the engagement's down. It's, Facebook feels so fucking useless, but it's a hefty chunk of people following the page. So I wanted to start doing something with it. So I try to at least throw up a couple news stories a day, and then like a link to the YouTube page or whatever. Hopefully after I get over the yep, there goes the fucking camera. Like I said, fucking thing's been cutting in and out. I have no idea why. I'll try to keep an eye on it. But you know the deal here. The technical issues are sort of our de rigueur for episodes of Sacktap Live. So we will deal with it and forge on. At any moment, it could just turn into an audio-only episode. That's kind of fun. And look at that. That distraction caused me to lose my place, lose my notes. What else was I saying? Oh, yes, of course. The podcast, the audio version, the Savage Sacktap. Anywhere podcasts can be downloaded. If it is not in the podcatcher of your choice, let me know. Shoot me the best way to get in touch with me is just fucking tweet at me. I have like 20 something messages in my Instagram inbox that I haven't touched. I don't really go in there too much. I'm not very into the whole fucking sitting around on the phone thing. I should just designate a time to answer these messages, but I really do not. I just don't like fucking around on social media. There's just better things to do. If you as the Stoics say, you contemplate your own death on a daily basis, as we all should. Then what you will realize is that at the moment that you are lying on your deathbed, you will not have wanted to spend more time looking into your phone. So I remind myself of that all the time, particularly in situations where I might really be tempted to look at my phone, like if I'm standing at the train station and it's a nice day out, you're waiting for a train, you get bored, you're scrolling around, then all of a sudden you realize, like, oh yeah, the sun is shining, there are birds chirping, fresh air, all that bullshit. You just happen to be at a train station. Put the phone away, be present, enjoy things, because there's a great line from the HBO Gotti movie when Neil Delacroce is dying and John Gotti goes to see him for the last time. Not to be confused with the dog shit John Travolta Gotti movie. I'm talking about the Armand Assante vehicle. Which just featured a great cast of mafia movie guys. Pretty much like half the fucking Sopranos. Dom Chianese, what's his name? Paulie Walnuts is in there. Vinny Pastore. But Neil Delacroce says to John as he's dying, he says, "This whole fucking thing lasts only 5 minutes," and it's one of those things where if you think about it, like, yeah, like you look back on your life and you're like, holy shit, how did I get here? And one day you will be looking back from the age of 70 or 80 or 90 when you're on death's door. And I can't imagine that you would have wanted to spend more time looking at Instagram reels or whatever the fuck people are doing on there. So I really, if you've messaged me and I haven't gotten back to you, it's not you, it is me. I don't really see a huge utility in fucking sitting around on my phone. So I go in once in a while just to say hello to you and respond to the very nice messages that you all send me. They are appreciated when I see them. You guys always say very nice and funny things, and you send me pictures of Uncle Dave's sausage, that meme will never get old. You can send that fucking thing to me every day, but be sure to tag other appropriate recipients in it if you are just tagging me in it. So that's that. And remind your friends that if they do subscribe to the live stream, they will get to see modestly dressed women at the start and end of every show. But let's get things going. An 8-minute preamble here was more than enough. Halloween 2022, a tale of stolen candy, hurt feelings, and creepy costumes. But as frightful as the holiday was, nothing can match the chilling mundanity of a suburban cold case murder. We're here, we're queer, we don't want any more bears. What we do want is a fresh episode of Sacktap Live, starting right now.
You're listening to the Savage Sacktap. It's not a podcast, it's not a half-cast, it's just a quick shot to the balls to help you finish off the week. We're cutting through the bullshit, filling your Friday with rage-fueled logic, and cracking a few jokes along the way. So grab a bag of frozen peas. There's a Savage Sacktap coming your way.
Smooth, lascivious, salacious, outrageous.
Unfortunately, this is the time in the show when the modestly dressed women have to be removed from the screen. We have to make room for other things. I know. We all love feasting our eyes on a woman in a hijab, but they will be back. Oh yes, they will be. So stick around for the end of the show, and you will get to see more Iranian women in modest dress. That much, I promise you. I am Mike Montone. This is the Savage Sacktap, or if you are joining us live, Sacktap Live, a a quick howdy to my friends in the comments section. We have we have a second live show in a row. I think, is it 2 in a row? I think. I don't know. We were doing a lot of pre-records going on there. Good to see Nighttime Conqueror, El Guso. Never good to see Thomas Hager, Ryan B. John Fritch in the house. Yes, those kind of photos will get his attention. Anyway, good to see you fellas, or however you identify. As you know, as any good live streamer does, you have to talk to the comments section all the time, even if you're just a former radio host hanging out in an Upper West Side bar with a Tascam going on Facebook Live to an audience of a couple dozen. We may go a little shorter tonight. I don't know if that was too inside. I'm sure some people will get it. We may go a little shorter tonight. Between my two jobs, I haven't had a real day off in over a month, and I am fucking exhausted. It has just been during the week. It's like, there's some nights where it's only like 5 hours, been like 5 hours of sleep or so. And then the weekend comes and I get up early and train people, and I got to do all this. And then I have extra video and stuff. I have some video we're working on for the radio show that's been cutting into the sleep. I finally had a morning where I didn't have to get up today, and I wasn't able to sleep past 6 a.m. because I woke up. I ate a shitload last night, like late. I had a couple steaks, some broccoli, rice, eggs, big fucking protein bowl, a lot of calories right before I went to sleep. And I woke up at 6 a.m. and had to take just a massive shit. It wasn't a stomach ache. It was just a huge bowel movement. And it was like, it wasn't exactly ready to come out. It wasn't going to allow me to go back to sleep. Like there's an energy that gets kicked through your body when you have to take a morning shit where your body's like, no, your sleep is done for you. Now you're up and defecating. But it still had to be kind of like coaxed out. So what I do in the morning when I get up is I do a water with salt and some lime juice, and that usually is kind of the trigger. If that doesn't do it, the first couple sips of coffee and it's ready to fly. So yeah, I was up defecating when I wanted to be asleep, and the rest of my body was like, no, we're supposed to be asleep. Like my head was like, we want to sleep, but there's just that have to shit energy just shocks you out of any ability to get back to sleep. So yeah, I'm working a big time sleep deficit right now, and I was not able to alleviate any of it this morning, thanks to the overwhelming need to defecate. And I've been covering extra shifts at the gym too. So it's like, if I teach a couple classes on a Wednesday night, you run around teaching a fucking cardio class for a couple hours. It's very hard to come down from that and like get yourself to bed. And then I got to get up at 4:30. So it's kind of it's just been an exhausting stretch, but it should be kind of easing to a finish here now that the holidays and everything are coming up. So should be able to get well rested and get back to bringing you the kind of quality content you deserve, instead of these long-winded diatribes about how I'm not getting enough sleep because I had to shit in the morning. Halloween is over. The Thanksgiving and Christmas season is here. I'll discuss all that in a little bit. We'll kind of put Halloween in the books. We got high school football is in the playoffs in New Jersey, which is always pretty cool. Especially this year, it's 20 years since the last time my high school won a state title, which coincidentally was my senior year. Well, not coincidentally, because my friends and I were the ones who went out there and did it. But both the team that I played for and the team that I coached for after I got out of the Marine Corps are in the second round of the playoffs right now. So that's pretty cool. I know a lot of people think that that adults following high school sports is kind of stupid. I don't. I think it's a really cool thing. I think it's something that you should support, especially like sports like football and wrestling are kind of like the last bastions of young male toughness, and I think they need that. So you got to support them to keep them around, because when you get guys who are like they're teenagers, they do shit like that. They do things that are physically hard and difficult, and they're challenged, and they develop camaraderie, and they learn to work together as a team and kind of like high level problem solving under stressful situations. I think those are really good things for the upcoming generations to be doing, and I support anything that allows that to continue. So that is that. Anyway, before we move on to the meat of the holiday season, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, the NFL playoffs, all that good stuff, Hanukkah is out there. Kwanzaa, we got some. I went to a Diwali party the other night. That was a lot of fun. A lot of holidays this time of year. Before we do that, I do want to reflect on what went on over Halloween. Here's the headline. It was super mean. Woman takes entire buckets of Halloween candy from Tampa home. And I'm gonna go ahead and preface this with, I'm not showing the video. I retweeted the video because I was making fun of the douche who shared it initially, and that's really all I want to do in terms of spreading it. It's all over the place. If you really insist on watching, I don't even know I could get away with watching, because the woman she had great cleavage showing. It was semi-exposed, and I don't know if that falls under YouTube's acceptable use guidelines regarding the female body. So I don't want to violate those, lest I be beheaded in a public square for offending a law. So I'm not going to, and I don't want to reshare it. And I think it's bullshit that people are even mad at this lady. But a woman was caught on video taking a home's entire candy supply for herself Halloween night while in costume. Popular YouTube streamer Andy Senior, host of Popcorned Planet, told WFLA he was out trick-or-treating with his family when he saw what happened on the Doorbell's app. I caught it happening live. It was all he capitalized live. I don't know, he shouted it. I don't know. And I was shocked, Senior said. I expected some teens to be greedy, but I couldn't believe an adult woman would take it all. I'm going to be honest. This is going to make me sound like a bit of a hypocrite here. But the second I hear, or maybe it won't make me sound like a hypocrite. It might make me sound a bit resentful. I don't know if the sound of this hot blueberry antioxidant tea being poured into my mug, I don't know if that is... I don't know if that can come through on mic, but I might sound resentful when I say that the term popular YouTuber just makes me immediately think of a huge douchebag. And I say that because I have a YouTube channel that not a lot of people follow. What are we working with right now? We've a whopping 7 people watching the stream right now. So I could not be accused of being a popular YouTube personality, but I also don't really consider myself a YouTuber. I consider myself a podcaster with a YouTube channel. I feel like YouTubers are more guys like this Senor douchebag, whoever the fuck he is, the Paul brothers, and all all of those kind of people who are really, they're their whole thing is YouTube, right? They sort of exist in that sphere where they create their content, and it's specifically designed to please an algorithmically driven audience. It is very much a wise person has said that it's the kind of shit that idiots like Hot Dog are into. I think that's a great way to describe what the average YouTuber is. And I mean, it's clearly effective because they have huge followings, but I've watched some of the stuff and I never find it to be like that compelling or interesting. You know, there are people with big YouTube followings whose content I can see, like fucking Rogan. I used to get all of his shit on YouTube way back when. Jocko is all over YouTube. So I mean, there are guys who I follow on YouTube, but again, I don't consider them like YouTubers. To me, a YouTuber is really like they they put up the stereotypical kind of screenshot thing where it makes it look like something wacky's happening, and they put the fucking the title is always like, oh, epic, whatever the fuck, you won't believe, suck my cock. And I don't know. I don't like it. I feel like it's a way for people who aren't that entertaining to kind of leapfrog to success. That's the way I see it. But in any case, the video showed the woman dressed in what appeared to be a barmaid costume. I thought she was dressed like a pirate wench, but I guess those aren't too far off. Empty both candy buckets into her own bucket. She dressed up, walked on my lawn, and seems to do it with intent, Senor said. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I can't imagine any situation where you would empty 2 buckets of candy into a bag with accidentally, right? You wouldn't. It's not like whoops. Of course, it was done intent, but he says it was super mean. Who needs that much candy that badly? And then he uploaded the video onto his Twitter where it went viral, writing, "This delightful adult woman decided to dump both buckets of candy from my porch so no other children could get any." And that bothered me. It bothered me that he's trying to oh, it's good tea. I love it. I love a tea. That could be taken wildly out of context. It bothers me that he's trying to get this woman in trouble. That's what he's trying to do. Like that is specifically what you are trying to do if you share a video like this. You're trying, and he knows what kind of reach he has. That, like, to me, that is worse than taking the candy, right? Like, the rules of Halloween are quite simple. If you see a bucket and it says, please take one, you take whatever the fuck you want. That, it has always meant that. It will always mean that. I know we're living in sort of a more, I don't know how to put this. We're not a nicer society. We're not a better society. We're living in a society where everyone is watching. We're almost living in a society of a fascism that is in no way government imposed. It's just sort of a fascism of the people. It's a self-imposed fascism that we sort of live under. And it's shit like this. It's guys like Andy Signor who think that for some reason it's incumbent upon him to expose Halloween candy opportunists. This is just incredible. Like, shit like this is how, like, people lose their jobs over stuff like this. Like, we're so fucking insane that people become ostracized from their communities for shit like this. Like, it's really not. It's worse to try to expose someone for doing this than it is to take this stuff. I mean, Halloween is a day, and we talked about this with the costumes last time. Halloween is a day meant for antisocial behavior, right? Whether it's an offensive costume, cultural appropriation, profanity, Jeffrey Dahmer, Jared from Subway, whatever the fuck it is, it's a day to throw social norms on the ground and piss on them. Like, I don't, if you saw Bill Maher, I watch Bill Maher every week. His new rule was about Halloween, about how we shouldn't be punishing or canceling people for bad behavior on Halloween. Obviously, if you hurt someone, but no, I think we can all agree that no one was hurt here. If you're trick-or-treating in the neighborhood where a wealthy a guy who's so wealthy that he can just make his living talking on YouTube, then you're probably doing okay. And this is the part this douche Senor said he didn't think the woman should face any criminal penalties, but he said she should apologize for taking all the candy and make a donation to a children's charity or a school to make up for it. First of all, he doesn't need to say that she needs to face any criminal penalties because society will often go after the person for you. Like I said, we have this self-imposed fascism where it doesn't require her. She doesn't need to be charged with anything because there's no charge there. You were giving the candy away. Like that's how it works. You please take one since the dawn of time has meant if you get to the bowl first, you take the whole fucking thing. I'm going to, if I have ever kids, I'm going to raise them to be the best human beings I possibly can, but they will also understand that on Halloween, that fucking bowl is up for grabs. It's like in football. When the ball is in the air, the defensive back has the same right to it as the receiver. Whoever gets the ball first, that's their ball. Whoever gets to the bowl of candy first, that's their candy. Okay? This is the way it works. That's part of the excitement of Halloween, to be totally honest. Part of the excitement of Halloween is going up to the door when you see that please take one from a distance, and you're either going to strike gold, it's going to be full, or it's going to be empty. It's probably going to be empty, but you never know. Sometimes it's just a lazy house and they come out and they dump a bunch of candy in, every 45 minutes or whatever, because they know how it goes. They know if you leave it out there, it gets taken. But this kind of grandstanding bullshit that internet people do where they want to expose someone, and then she should make a donation to a children's charity or to a school. Like, for how much? $15? Like, assuming that you left out almost 2 full bowls of standard fun-sized candy, $15 would be in excess of what the stolen product cost, right? And if we're talking cost per kid, if in some imaginary world someone else wasn't going to come up and dump the entire bowl, and each kid was just going to take one piece of candy or whatever bullshit you think happens, then what are we talking? 75 cents a kid? Really? She should make a donation? A donation? Andy Senor should make a fucking donation. Is there an organization that studies how men grow up to be douchebags? That could use a little more funding. And maybe someday we can live in a world without Andy Senors, or however you pronounce his fucking name. The problem with these people who live in this world of viral videos and hot takes and takedowns and shit, they don't consider normal human behavior, right? Their entire life is just one big Twitter feed. And I think if your brain works like that, then you see this woman engaging in a little bit of cheeky Halloween fun, and for you, it's a springboard to go out and sort of humiliate her on a mass scale. Like, this is, if I had to guess what happened, this chick, she had her tits hanging out of her shirt. It was beautiful. It was great. I'm sorry. It was offensive to the laws of Islam and good taste. But I could see how the American infidel would be quite pleased with the sight of this woman's nearly bare chest leaning over to grab the candy. But she was probably a little boozed up, maybe taking some edibles. Her friends are probably sharing stories from Halloween's past. They're giggling about what they see a please take one bowl back in the day. They're giggling about how they used to raid those things. And one of them says, hey, next house we see with the please take one, I dare you to grab it. And she did it, but she did it not knowing that she was running afoul of an asshole with an oversized social media following. That's that is my understanding of how this probably all went down. Not Sam Miguel. Oh, good to see you gracing us with your presence. Um yeah, Nighttime Conqueror, I agree. I don't understand. The people who do that are lazy. It's a laziness thing. This guy says he was out um you know, out fucking trick or treating with his kids. Maybe that's the case, and that's fine if you're going to do that. Then, but understand that the bowl is being taken away. Um, that's how it works. I am also Nighttime Conqueror, a proponent of full sized candy bars. Oh, that was always a good grab. When you got a full sized people. There was one house that was notorious for having they would have people walk up to you on the street and like pretend to give you like the heads up. Hey, they're giving full size bars up over there. And when kids would run up the steps, they would fucking pop out of somewhere and like scare you. That was their move. And once in a while, they would offer a full size in return for the scare. But yeah, this Andy Senor can suck my dick. I don't know if you guys know him, if you watch his content, if it's any good, but he just seems like a tremendous douchebag. But moving on. Moving on, the movie Clueless making some headlines. Let's take a look. Well, not the movie, but well, kind of. This is you may remember this gentleman. This is Donald Faison, whatever his name is. He was in Clueless. Uh, Fans stunned by Donald Faison and his daughter's Clueless costume. This is the best, say fans. The 48-year-old actor shared a photo of him and his 7-year-old daughter Wilder posing as the two iconic 90s characters on his Instagram on Monday. Faison notably starred in Clueless as Murray, the boyfriend of main character Cher's best friend Dion, who was portrayed by Stacey Dash. In the photo, Faison wore a magenta hoodie, green joggers, and a backward Kangol hat, an outfit bearing similarities to what his character wore in the film. Standing in front of her father, Wilder wore one of Dion's famous outfits consisting of a matching plaid skirt and jacket and a red shirt. She completed the signature look with a large hat on her head, a small purse around her waist, and a fake cell phone in her hand. And I get it. It's a very adorable picture. She's striking a very sassy pose. They look like they're from the movie. I got it. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I understand why idiots would enjoy this, but what no one is considering here is that in the movie, Dion was not only Cher's best friend, Dion was also Murray's girlfriend, right? If you remember from the movie Clueless, Murray and Dion are dating, but they haven't had sex yet, which in high school talk, that is code for third base. So they were probably doing all of the teenage stuff that happens before vaginal penetration with the penis, right? There were probably a dry humping going on. That thing where the chick will slide her pussy across like the top of your dick, get it fucking all like juiced up. HJs, BJs, finger bangs, butt fingers, butthole licking, titty fucking, all of that going on between Murray and Dion. And then, of course, there is a moment in the movie where Cher points out that their virginity had gone from technical to non-existent, which means that not only did Murray, the character, do all of that other naughty stuff, all of that other sort of PG-13 stuff with Dion, but he also took her virginity. He pushed his turgid member into her unbroken womanhood and left a bloody mess on the sheets as they consummated their teenage love. So my question then is, how the fuck is that the costume that you pick for your daughter, right? And I understand, I get the movie part, right? I get that, it's fun, it's adorable, you're dressing her as the person from the movie. And I could almost understand if you dressed her as Dion without dressing as Murray. If you were just, you're Dion, and I'm not going to even allude to the fact that my daughter is dressing as a character that I was supposed to have deflowered. But he goes ahead and dresses like that and poses with her. He dressed as the guy who's fucking his daughter, and the internet loves it. Okay, this is not to circle back to Andy Signor. This is why I don't put too much stock into things that are popular on the internet, because people on the internet are fucking idiots, and they like this daughter fucking stuff. This is a couple's costume. He did a couple's costume with his daughter. Like, people, if a white couple dressed as like William and Kate, or one of the fucking royal couples, or Bill and Hillary, or Jeff and Ghislaine, it would be really gross, right? People would take umbrage. I don't understand. I find father-daughter incest here. I find that the implication of this father-daughter incest to me to be far more offensive than candy thievery, any kind of cultural. I'm sitting 5 feet away from a sombrero. I have a sombrero over there. I can't put it on because I will get in trouble. But this guy can make a costume where he fucks his daughter, and he's Mr. Popular with everybody on the computer. Can't dress like Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer murdered some people. Well, you know what Jeffrey Dahmer didn't do? Bang his daughter. Okay? So, serial killers, spooky clowns out, fucking your daughter in. Call me old-fashioned, but back in my day, it was frowned upon to recreate nostalgic sexual chemistry with one of your female relatives. I don't like it. I think it's weird when they do the parent-child dance at a wedding. And that's like it's very much just a ceremonial, it's part of the process. It's a check in the box. But to me, that creates far too much of a likelihood for, say, a situation where the groom takes a Cialis before the wedding because he wants to be able to fuck his bride. If he drinks too much, he still wants to be able to get an erection. And now he has a Cialis penis, and he's within grazing distance of his mother's crotch. That's, in my book, that's not so good. So it just feels like society is completely melting down here. And you read those QAnon theories about Hollywood types like banging kids, and you try to convince yourself that it's all crazy talk. And then something like this happens. Donald Faison or however you pronounce this pervert's name. And it's paraded in front of us like it's harmless fun. And then, I get it. You're like, all right. So Hollywood really is just one big cabal of left-leaning kid fuckers who are good at pretending to do stuff when there's a camera rolling. That's it. Maybe the guy who took a gun to that pizza place isn't such a lunatic. Yes, John Rankin. Yeah, he was trying to bang that girl. He did bang that girl in the movie. By the way, Hager, eat a dick. I am the farthest thing from wasting away. I'm lean as a motherfucker right now. But I was doing high rep stability ball single arm chest presses with heavy dumbbells this afternoon. So I am far from wasting away. Still very much a savage, just a lean fucking savage. I got a little too puffy last winter. I want to see if I can stay lean through the bulk season. So that'll be the challenge. The last time I weighed in, though, I was about 190. I might be down. I may be down around like 185 or something like that right now, but wasting away my fucking dick, motherfucker. In any case, the real news story that I wanted to check out tonight, and I'm gonna have to clear this incest story off of our screen. Yes, that is correct, Nighttime Conqueror. Still HIV negative. Hepatitis, still a chance. We'll see. Did put my mouth in some robust women's butt cracks back in the day, and I hear that shit can have like a multi-decade incubation period. So hey, you never know when it's gonna catch up with you. But moving on. Enough about that. We're just going to deal with the present. Let me find it. I love this. There's a great Mark Norman tells a great story about getting H. pylori from eating a fat chick's ass. So we've all done it. If I find myself in good company, comedy. Okay, this fucking creep. You see him? Is he on your screen? I don't know if you've been following the Delphi murders. Delphi murder suspect sat by wanted poster, spoke about case. An Indiana bar owner has revealed that the suspect arrested in the Delphi murders of 2 teen girls was a patron at his tavern who would often sit just inches away from a police sketch of the wanted killer. And it's a sort of a recurring theme on Sacktap Live that the suburbs are a dark fucking place. In the city, you will run into fucked up stuff, right? You know, you may come across a guy walking down the street. Maybe he has a golf club, and you're walking down the street somewhere on the Upper West Side, and he menaces you. And all of a sudden you decide to move from New York to Los Angeles or whatever, because you feel the only way to truly avoid such things is to put an entire hemisphere between yourself and the danger. Of course, LA having its own problems, so you may get attacked by a vagrant over there as well. But people were like fleeing New York City because of all the vagrants. They were moving to Texas and Florida and etc. But the thing is, urban crime is a very overt thing, right? Which I almost prefer because it's easier to see coming. Like you can, when if you're out picking up an iced coffee and some guy menaces you with a baseball bat, you can see him from a block away. I can see an unhinged vagrant from usually a good 2 blocks in New York City. You know that there's an unhinged vagrant coming up, and you have a little time to make a decision, right? You can cross the street. If you can't avoid him, at least you can prepare for a potential engagement. You can create some physical standoff. You can quicken your pace. You can get eyes on their hands to make sure they don't have a knife or anything like that. You can do whatever you have to do to free up your own hands in case it goes down. You can get your keys out, put them between your knuckles in case you really have to go to town on the motherfucker. You can do those things and make yourself a little bit safer, right? The subway is notorious for people being thrown in front of trains. You can avoid getting thrown in front of a train simply by being alert to your surroundings and sort of standing with your back to the wall, or you're sitting on a bench with a clear view. That's not the case in the suburbs. In the suburbs, things happen a little bit more subtly. They take time. They happen quietly. They develop. They can the biggest tragedy, the most horrific thing in the world in the suburbs can happen in the quiet of a home with the doors locked and the shades drawn. If you're a kid, you go out, you rarely get caught in the act of throwing the egg, right? You throw the egg at night, your work is discovered on the garage door in the morning. And then 3 weeks later, you brag about it to someone in the cafeteria. And then another week after that, it makes its way through the fucking town gossip chain and that's when your parents or the cops or the principal find out about. There's a slower pace to things, and that also that's not just about cheeky childish fun like throwing eggs, but it includes homicide as well, including the one that took place in Delphi, Indiana, home of the Indiana Bacon Festival. Oh my. We won't be celebrating bacon this evening, though. We will be delving into a murder. Bob Matlock, the owner of the now shuttered JC's Bar and Grill, said that Richard Matthew Allen and his wife were regular customers who would often talk about the 2017 killings of 14-year-old Liberty Libby German and 13-year-old Abigail Abby Williams. He would come in and we would always talk about the girls and everything, Matlock told the Daily Beast, which, by the way, just having the last name Matlock is cool as fuck. I wouldn't call if my last name was Matlock, I wouldn't call my fucking bar JC's Bar and Grill. I would absolutely be calling it Matlocks. I mean, everybody would be referring to me as Matlock. I would also say that Columbo, pretty sweet last name. I think of all the TV detectives, Columbo's my favorite. I like it when he realizes that there's some loose ends that still need to be tied up. And probably in the conversation for all-time greatest last names, Columbo, because not only do you get an association with the best TV detective, you also get that tie-in to a New York mob family, which has a reputation for absolutely savage amounts of violence. If you haven't, the stories about the Columbo Wars are absolutely fascinating. Larry Mazza has a really good YouTube channel where he goes over that stuff. The story about when they murdered Nicky Black was really, really interesting. Shot just point blank on the street in Brooklyn, broad daylight, drove up behind him and hit him with a shotgun to the back of the head. It through a fucking car window, and then went home and watched Seinfeld and drank a soda, which, like, holy fucking shit. And he said, like, his buddy's kids came home from school while they were sitting there, like, fucking, like, they'd literally just blown this guy's head off, and they're sitting on the couch watching Seinfeld, drinking soda, and the kids come in from a day at school. Like, that's fucking crazy. So yeah, the Columbo family, badass. Anyway, this bar owner says, back to this homicide, we would carry on conversations about it. He would say, it's such a tragedy. And we'd say we felt sorry for the families and all that. Allen, a 50-year-old married dad of two and CVS technician, was taken into custody Friday and charged with 2 counts of murder for the mysterious slayings in Delphi. The girls' bodies were found near a hiking trail on February 14th, 2017, a day after they went missing while going for a walk during a day off from school. Matlock, who closed his business in December 2021, because the libs shut down the entire country during COVID, or because he didn't name the bar Matlock's and no one wanted to go to JC's Bar and Grill, said he considered Allen and his wife Kathy to be good friends of nearly 20 years. The couple came to the bar 3 or 4 times a week and chatted with other patrons, sometimes about the girls' unsolved murders. Matlock said some of Libby and Abby's relatives were also his patrons. And yeah, this would be the darkness that I'm talking about. Like, I grew up in a very small cell. Like, my hometown was 11,000 people. So the town bar really is where you will fucking see everybody. Like, if I go back to one of my local watering holes in like Glen Rock or Fairlawn or Ridgewood, there's a high probability that I will either run into someone I knew as a kid, or I will run into the relative of someone that I knew when I was a kid. So this guy and his wife, they're there. They're fucking... This JC's sounds like the kind of place where, you get like a bar pie and some jalapeno poppers. You throw back a couple IPAs, and then you talk about the local dead girls who were... I've been trying to figure out how they were killed, which none of the news stories have been mentioning it. The Wikipedia page doesn't. I guess there was a grand jury handed down the indictment or some shit. But I think it had been they unsealed it. Like it was a it was a very, I think, quiet investigation. But this guy's there, he's chomping on he's got some niblets from the grill, some chicken fingers and honey mustard or ranch dressing, if you're the kind to get molested by your uncle. And he's talking to people, offering them, hey, want a fry? Have a fry. Dip it in a little ketchup while he talks to them about their fucking dead niece. Incredibly fucked up. And you have to there's probably a sick joy that he must have been taken, like when he got his picture taken in front of the fucking poster, when he was having conversation with the victims' families, probably getting a chance to they say that you relive the crime over and over again when you do that, so you get like the same thrill. Like it's almost like, for a normal person, like jerking off to the thought of an ex-girlfriend or a chick that you hooked up with one time, you still have flashes of, her ass cheeks just slamming against your waist, or the way she used to, lick your tip or whatever. And you get off to it. This guy was for sure like getting off to conversations with the victims' families. And that's really the part where, sickening as the actual act is, like I'm reading about these guys in California. I think they were called like they're called like the toolbox killers or some shit. They're two serial killers who they outfitted a van as like a rape and murder mobile. And they were going around picking young women and teenage girls up and taking them out to rural parts of California and raping and murdering them. And they recorded some of it, I guess, and they took Polaroids. They get this sick sexual satisfaction from doing it. And it's incredibly chilling. The Allens were members of JC's Bar's Pool League and were active in the community. The community, Matlock said. He stressed that there was never any indication that Richard, known to his friends as Rick, would be accused of a double murder. I just couldn't believe it when they said they arrested him, said Matlock. I said, well, that can't be the Rick we know. And then we come to find out it was. There wouldn't have been any inkling to anyone that knew him that would expect him to do something like that. And again, a haunting photo shared by Matlock showed a smiling Allen posing in front of a police poster with an artist's rendering of the Delphi murder suspect's face. He must have been so fucking cocky, right? Like he's gonna get away with it. And like that really is the part that disturbs me the most, is that, like, again, if you live in the city, you see the guy, he's going to try to push someone in front of a fucking train or whatever. This guy, he's coming in, seeing that poster several times a week, posing for a picture in front of it, blending in with the community. That is a degree of sociopathy that I can't fathom. Like, and that's what terrifies about the suburbs. It's how on the surface everything seems so normal and healthy and safe, but underneath it's just bubbling with shit like this. The former bar owner said he thought the sketch bore no resemblance to Allen. He also did not think a man's voice saying the words "down the hill" in a grainy video recovered from Libby German's phone sounded like Allen's. Like I said, I've been trying to find the method that this guy used to kill the girls, but I haven't been able to. I have to think that he used a weapon of some kind, because I don't know how to, like, they were softball players, like they were, active chicks. You would think that they could outrun a fucking adult, especially, like, let's be honest, this fucking guy, he doesn't look the most, spry. Like, if I was a kid, like, I kind of like my chances to get away from this guy, or to best him in a physical confrontation. So I have to assume that if he, if they have the recording of him saying "down the hill," he must have had a gun or some shit with him, right? That's the only way it makes sense to me. And that line is just fucking chilling. Like he's going to lead them somewhere awful down the hill. Um, they had to have known that something bad was going to happen, right? In that moment where you start recording the situation. Matlock described Alan as quiet and friendly. He said his sweet wife Kathy works as a veterinarian. Libby's grandmother, Becky Patty, told reporters Monday that Alan had once processed photos for their family at the CVS, but he didn't charge them. Betty Cummings, a customer at the CVS, told the Indianapolis Star that she would see Alan having lunch with friends at a nearby McDonald's. He's a big McDonald's lunch guy. I feel like that's an indicator, right? If you're the kind of guy who goes to McDonald's for a sit-down meal, I think that really is probably, if we were going to, if you go to a CrossFit class in New York City, you might come across a guy jacking off in the bathroom, right? Expected. I think if you eat at a McDonald's in flyover country, if you dine in, I think that's how you start crossing paths with child killers and possible sex offenders, right? That's who eats at McDonald's. That I'm not saying, by the way, not to have Mickey D's. Like I get it's a great dude, drunk snack, whatever. Fucking double cheeseburger and fries from McDonald's is fucking incredible. Like that's delicious. I'm the healthiest motherfucker on the planet. Like I've been again, as Hager has noted, my chiseled jawline, like the carbs have been pretty fucking low lately. So I'm not throwing back Mickey D's on the regular, but I will concede that McDonald's fucking rules. Like it's incredible. That said, there is really no benefit at all to dining inside of a McDonald's. The only plausible reason would be if it's like late night in an entertaining place where there's going to be like a brawl or something like that, and you want to, maybe try to get some quick viral videos going at like 2 a.m. Like in New York City, there are a couple that get particularly violent. Remember, we had the guy with the fucking hatchet. So that I'm kind of like, I get. But otherwise, the less densely populated the area, the more likely that I think the patrons dining inside of a McDonald's are likely to just be the kind who would sexually violate and murder 2 teenage girls. That seems to be that, and like really old people with just nothing to do. That's who you're getting in there. CVS issued a statement in the wake of Allen's arrest, saying the company is shocked and saddened to learn that one of our store employees was arrested as a suspect in these crimes. We stand ready to cooperate with the police investigation in any way we can. We remain devastated by these murders, and our hearts go out to the German and Williams families, the statement continued. Well, very good of CVS to stand against murder and to stand with the victims of murder. That was good of them. A bold stance, and definitely a necessary announcement. It certainly, that did not read as a verbal washing of the hands of the weirdo who used to process photographs at your store. Does anybody, I don't know if we needed a corporate message on this one. Like, did anyone believe that CVS was harboring him? Like, this guy, if you look at him, you're like, oh, this guy's a schlub. Like, he's a schlub who worked at CVS. That's what schlubs do. They work at chain pharmacies. That is one of the primary places that you will find a schlubby guy is at a CVS, or up on the corner by me, it's a Walgreens. That's just where those guys that's where they wind up. You couldn't have known upon hiring him that he was a kid killer, a kid killer, and a probable sexual predator. He looks exactly like the kind of person that you expect to see working at a CVS. That's why you hired him. The unfortunate thing about that, and this is really not much CVS can do about it, because you never know when one is going to drift into the other. But there is a pretty large Venn diagram there of guys who look like they belong working at a CVS, and also guys who look like they might sexually assault and murder 2 teenage girls. Those guys do have a lot of overlap. But again, it's very, until one of them has done it or you have some fingerprint evidence, it's very hard. It's hard to put that on the hiring manager at a local CVS branch, I think. So that's that. More than 5 years after Libby and Abby's killings, police have still not released how they were killed or what evidence they had in the case. Yeah, that's wild. I'm gonna follow this one. This is fascinating. Lot of really horrific murders happening in this country. We are a fucked up group of people. Nighttime Conqueror, who's getting photos developed anymore, let alone at a pharmacy. I will tell you, Nighttime Conqueror, I have been known to use the photo development center here at Walgreens when I need to print out. Sometimes it's fun to Photoshop pictures of your coworkers in poses that make it look like they've been engaged in graphic sexual acts. And I find that, I can just go online, I can upload the pictures, and I can pick them up at Walgreens. That's very convenient. I don't have to go all the way down to Hoboken to the FedEx store to do it and print it out myself. So yeah, people do. I take full advantage of people's of pharmacy photo development resources. Thank you, Anthony. I'm saying that. I appreciate that. I'm glad you enjoyed that. For whatever reason, we didn't do like tags and stuff on socials, so I didn't get the huge social media bump out of it this year. But I very much appreciate that. It was fun. Soraya did a great job doing the prosecutor read for that. If you're wondering how that came to fruition, we did it at Comic-Con. We didn't have a podium or anything to use. I just had her stand up against a white wall, and I had the mustard intern hold the microphone up, and I shot the thing so that he was out of frame, and it just looked like she was at the podium. And then I dropped it into a breaking news background on Canva. It was a lot of fun. So I don't know if that's going to go out. I don't know if the cameras were, rolling in studio for that. I have no clue, but it was a lot of fun putting that one together. I almost wish it hadn't been for the Halloween parade, so I could have done, so we could have made kind of like a bigger content piece out of it, because I think we could have had fun. I developed an entire story behind the cat porn arrests that we never really got to delve into. But that's that. I'm quite glad that you guys enjoyed that, though. Any other insight on this this fucking horrific murder? By the way, if anyone is from, I always say this because I never know where you guys are from. Like, we had comment last week about a very mysterious disappearance up in Canada. If you guys are from the area, if this is like a local news story to you, or like I was doing the Oklahoma murders last week. There's one in Appalachia that's really interesting to me. A guy killed his fucking the entire family of his daughter's mother. If you are local to these things and you know about them and you know details that I'm missing, I would love to fucking hear it, because this shit is really interesting to me. Like, I'm fascinated by this. Just really, whatever drives people to do this kind of thing is very. It just intrigues me. the dark depths of the human mind. The human mind is a very, very frightening place. But I want to end tonight on happier news, because something wonderful did happen. So let's get this creep off the screen. Something fantastic happened, and I want to celebrate this. Hopefully YouTube will be okay with this. Hopefully the sight of these two beautiful women is not too much for YouTube. I probably should have run this by their quality control, but Miss Argentina and Miss Puerto Rico announced they have married in secret. Big round of applause for the happy couple. Again, I'm not gonna read into the whole story. I'm just gonna let us appreciate this. Their secret nuptials. They, presumably this would mean that they've been having a considerable amount of honeymoon sex, right? There might be all sorts of fun toys involved. They may be rubbing their vaginas vigorously on each other's thighs, playing with each other's erect nipples, all sorts of fun things going on between these two beautiful women, and we celebrate that. We really celebrate that. And you might be saying, how can you celebrate that and also be a place where the hijab is still worn? And I tell you, well, that's because that's what our overlords at YouTube want, and we do pledge a certain fealty to them to continue bringing you this very middling content. And that's how we must start and end every show. Because while this is very sexy, it is an abomination before God. We shouldn't be looking at two beautiful women who like to have sex with each other. Allah does not want that, nor does YouTube. What YouTube wants is for us to enjoy chaste, conservative women, and that's what we have here in Iran, in the Islamic Republic of Iran. So we'll gaze upon that as I talk to you guys in the comments section. Good to see sexchat69.site making an appearance in the comments section. I do love a good bot showing up. There's nothing like checking the notifications after I've posted some content and seeing that it's a fucking bot giving me notifications. That is really the confidence goes up and then it just drops right back down. But it is what it is. Yes, Kauster, is it Kauster or K Oster? I don't know. It looks like Kauster. Lots of scissoring, probably a 69 in there. Lots of fun. You can have a lot of fun. Two vaginas better than one. That's what I say. But in any case, while we look at these appropriately dressed Iranian women who honor Allah by covering up their most private parts, I want to remind you that this is where we stream. So if you haven't yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, the like button, the share button. Send it out to everybody. Tell them here is where you don't need to fear seeing women in states of undressed. They will only be dressed modestly, and we can celebrate that. We can respect the dignity and sanctity of the human body. So spread the word far and wide. Twitter at Mike Montone, Instagram at Gary_Moyler, Moyler. Facebook.com/The Savage Crew. And of course, the audio version of the show, The Savage Sacktap, available wherever you can find podcasts. Please remember to Mike's eye needs a hijab. Very, very good, sir. It is. I'm told by people who did not know that I had surgery that it it looks a little bit better. So I feel like some people might just be being unnecessarily judgmental, but no, it does still need to go up higher. The crease from the surgery hasn't even evened out yet, so long process, boys. In any case, please rate and subscribe and comment and all that bullshit. I'm fucking exhausted. I go eat a steak and go to sleep. I've a busy day tomorrow, and I will catch you probably live next week. I think I can do a live one next week. Maybe not. I don't fucking know. Anyway, adios, motherfuckers. Catch you later.